Good evening from Bali, everyone. It's Nefa Menon from hearthealthbrainhealth.com, encouraging healthy grieving and mindful actions. Today, I want to continue this series about mental health and alchemy. And I thought I would start first with this definition of what a spiritual alchemist is. And you might know that I feel that spiritual energy is a very subtle energy, very, very subtle. So it's not on a gross level. This is something that is even beyond the mind, but spiritual is something that's within all of us. So some people might call this the divine spark. Some people might call it God. Some people might call it the universe. But there is this spiritual energy somewhere around. And some might call it luck. And anyways, I would start with this quotation, which doesn't have an author, but it says, "A spiritual alchemist is someone who dares to shine a light on their inner depths, be radically honest, live their gifts, and transmute their pain into a source of power and healing for others." For others, into a source of power and healing for others. And this is so interesting that if we really think about service to each other, whether it's in a family, it's in a relationship, or it's in a company, oftentimes a leader, so whether it's a manager or whether it's a CEO, the leader does not really think about the others. I think I understand them, and I don't really understand myself yet, so I don't understand that I'm coming from pain myself, and so I'm going to lead others from this space of pain. And wherever we start, the cause and the effect has the same sort of energy. So if I start from pain of any sort, some hurt, some frustration on the road or at home, and I bring it into the office, we all know that makes a lot of sense, but most people do not even know that they're carrying such things. And I thought this next quotation would be very important too. So again, when I talk about the spiritual alchemist, it's first about recognizing what is it that we ourselves carry, and then what are we carrying into every interaction that we have. And I thought I'd talk about this quotation that people might be more familiar with. And it says, "If people are afraid to fail around you, you're not leading, you're intimidating. If people are afraid to fail around you, you're not leading, you're intimidating." So what would that mean? On a personal level, we can see this from parents, that if parents are showing their children what to do, this is how to do this, whatever it is, it could be an actual physical action, it could be helping them in some sport that they're very excited about, whatever it is, or if it's some mental emotional space that I want to help my child get through this unease that I see they're feeling. I might think that they're depressed, they might think they're anxious, and they might even have a diagnosis. And if I'm leading from a space of fear, are they going to get worse? Are they getting better? Are they ever going to learn this? If I start there, that's the energy I apply into whatever I do. And so even if I'm feeling like I'm being very loving in my communication, I'm saying, oh, just try again, try again, try again. At the back of my mind, I would know whether I think, I don't think they're ever going to succeed, I don't think they'll ever get this, whatever. I've seen people who have helped their children get very far in skating, for example, and partly, maybe largely, because of their own dream of being an athlete. And this can happen in any area of life. So if I am a practitioner, a healthcare practitioner, and whichever healthcare practitioner I might be, I'm a doctor. I want my child to be a doctor. And I'm watching them. They're not doing so great, and they don't really care about it. And so I've already put that energy into helping my child become a doctor, even though they're going through school, they're paying for all the education, or I'm paying for the education, whichever. But as this happens, I see that, oh, they don't have a lot of faith in themselves. They feel very not confident. And why are they like that? And I'm judging that as the energy that I put into the child that I'm raising, even if I'm not the one teaching them the education. And yet I'm educating from my own actions, my own energy, my own subtle background. This is the cause that leads to an effect that I see. And that can happen with relationships. So husbands and wives might do this to each other. Friendships might do this to each other. And in workplaces, people do this to each other. And this could be just the colleague beside me who is thinking, oh, I don't want that person to take over my job, and I know that this company is downsizing. This energy is intimidating. This is not leadership. Now, do we train leadership by understanding alchemy, how can we change this not so positive energy into a positive energy that actually helps the world around us? And I thought this was a fantastic quotation to also reflect on here. This one says, this is by Carl Jung, and it says, where love rules, there is no will to power, and where power predominates, love is lacking. The one is the shadow of the other. The one is the shadow of the other, which means if we understand shadow psychology, I don't know if you do, and this is something, again, I would encourage us to understand for our personal lives and our professional lives, that something really good, love, has a shadow of something that's lacking, where power is there. Oh my goodness, power could come from an ego, right? An ego and love are not the same. So from an ego, I feel like I'm helping my child. I feel like I'm helping my colleague. I feel like I'm helping my employees, or I feel like I'm helping my boss. And when I'm coming from the place of this is who I am and I do this very well, that's ego. And love can't stay there. Love is not there. So love, I'm not talking about a romantic love. I'm talking about something that's indefinable. It's not something that we can really put into language, but it is felt. It is from a space that is compassionate, understanding, and supportive. And not only for myself, whoever is sharing love or sharing from a loving space, it's for the person expressing this way and the receiver too. And the intention is for the receiver. If I am focused on it, and I know this will make me feel better, so this is why I do it, it's a different sort of goal. If my intention is to help those around me, it's a much more powerful energy, because that is the energy of the universe. And this is something that I find has been lost in our society. This is something that, this divine energy that many people talk about. Some people might talk about it on Fridays when they go to mosque, and some people might talk about it on Sundays when they go to church. But are we living it? And this next quotation, I wanted to make sure that we can focus on this again. It says, love, in the divine alchemy of life, transmutes all duties into privileges, all responsibilities into joys. All duties into privileges, all responsibilities into joys. And you know, a lot of times when we talk about responsibility, it's with that heavy energy. Well, you know, there's a lot of responsibility in life. And imagine changing responsibilities into joys and duties into privileges. So when we give service, whether to family members, or we give service to the world around us, or we give service in our companies, this is a service. No matter what your position is, there is a service that we can provide through this space of the alchemy of love. This idea, of course, if we say, oh, I'm very loving at work, it's like lots of people will then link it with romantic love. And you know, a lot of workplaces have a lot of hidden relationships going on, and you might know this, you might have participated in this. And what is this that is true love, this true, loving, authentic space, which some people would define as God, some people would define as the universe, some people will define as the truth. And I thought this was a wonderful quotation to end with today, because unless we understand what it is that we are aligning with for this powerful space that's within each of us, and then to respect the same space in each other person, we won't know what is our goal, where am I working from? I'm working from my mind, most people are. My mind is my knowledge is my memory. On my memory, I add more memory. So I learn something new and I add more memory, I add to the ego too. But God is a different space, and the universe is a different space, and love is a different space, and alchemy is a different space. So first we have to know, where is it that we can align with to have this power that is beyond words, beyond mental comprehension, and yet is unmistakable in how it's felt. This says, God is a circle whose center is everywhere and circumference nowhere. The center is everywhere and the circumference is nowhere, so it's ever expansive. The center is in the person that I speak to. The center is within myself. The center is within a plant. The center is within an animal. The center is wherever my observation may look, and then circumference is unlimited. If I make myself my ego my center, it's about me. If I make that person the center of my attention, my ego is again operating because I'm measuring that. Is that person better than me, less than me? They're so important, they're not important. I'm so upset with them, I'm so happy with them. Doesn't matter if I have that leaning towards one side or another. This is a really good employee, this is not a good employee. This is a really good sibling, not a good sibling. That's a good child, not good child. When I put those values of better than, lesser than, I'm applying ego energy. When I as a child feel like, oh, this parent is better than that parent, I'm also applying ego. And I'm not applying God principles. I'm also not applying this alchemy of love, true, authentic love. Today, I hope that you will focus on thinking about what is the goal for you? What are you aligning with? If the power is within your own mind, it's very limited. If the power is something outside of you that comes through you to help all, that is huge, and that is very powerful, that is very loving, that is very compassionate. And that's the space that I believe that we can apply to our personal lives and our professional lives. Today, I hope that you will reflect on that for at least 5 minutes after this video, and perhaps for the whole day and whole life ahead. I hope you remember, transform your mind and transform your life. I'm looking forward to taking you through a little bit more transformative journeys about alchemy and how you can apply it. Have a great day or night, everyone. And remember, transform your mind and transform your life.